Hey, Laura.
Hey, Greg. I just want to thank you guys for last weekend's class. It was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
I have a family member who was diagnosed with prostate cancer 13 years ago,
Okay.
and it was a complicated one. It wasn't one of the more simple ones.
Right.
They removed his prostate. 4.5 years later, it came back. He did some rounds of radiation in different areas. He's had, chemical treatments, four to five treatments at different times. At one point, he's been losing some ground with memory and cognition, and being able to figure out what's the next step, and some word retrieval and focus and different things. At one point, they did an MRI, actually about 2 years ago, and it looked like there was some evidence of stroke in two places. But they've also questioned if some of the medication wasn't causing problems too, cognitively.
Yeah.
And they've definitely, they've just seen the deterioration over time and more rapidly sometimes with the medication.
How old is he?
69. And there are a couple of things. One thing is he has asthma.
Okay.
And one of the things that I've noticed is he's not as engaged as as he's always been. He's kind of disengaged. And we were just trying to see, you talk about brain fatigue, you talk about all different kinds of things, and this is obviously more complicated, but just trying to see if you had any suggestions.
I mean, like you said, it's a complicated situation, but like all of those things seem like unrelated to a certain extent, but they could be actually totally related. And whenever you see cancer, like if you boil it down, it's just you think about it, it's just a chaotic cell growth, right? I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but it's cells that are growing that are abnormal, and it's a lot like a virus in the way excuse me, that it behaves. But this is what I say, just even when I'm looking at him as you were describing him, like last weekend we were talking about the vagus nerve and rest and repair. The nerve that opposes the vagus nerve is this aspect. It's a nerve associated with the sympathetic part of the nervous system, and it basically does the opposite of the vagus nerve. Like it accelerates things, like it accelerates the heart. I mean, they call it the accelerator nerve. His is crazy overactivated, and so that could cause the cardiovascular issues. It could cause like a stroke, or there's these things that they're not really a stroke, but they're like usually kind of a pre-stroke thing. Sometimes people will call them like a minor mini stroke or a baby stroke, but they're TIAs, which are transient ischemic attacks. And they'll hit the brain, and there might not be a big incident, but there could be hundreds of small incidences that hit the brain over a period of time. And so you factor in that, we have this issue with the prostate and chaotic cell growth, and then these other things. And then like when you say he's not himself, is he like fatigued, or he seems like emotionally, mentally kind of detached from engaging and interacting with other people?
I would say he's kind of detached from other people.
So it's I mean, it can be a very big imbalance between these two parts of the nervous system. And if you remember from the vagus nerve class, the vagus nerve, when is like strong and healthy, part of it has to do with like social engagement. and it sounds like he's lacking that. So, there's a little bit of a vagus nerve component, but it's not so much that the vagus nerve or the rest and repair aspect of the nervous system is depleted. It's the other side is just crazy overactivated. And so, I mean, I don't know how much this person would be willing to do certain things. So a lot of times I try to start small. And would he like inhale an oil or put it on his body or anything like that? Or do we need to go through different?
I think we're going to get as much information as possible.
Okay.
And
then
start
we'll assess.
small.
Okay,
and
perfect. I like that. So this is what I would do is, like just trying to target like the symptom or this symptom. Like I kind of want to get the body like just in a better place of functioning. And once that happens, it makes anything that he's doing with his doctors or with other protocols that we do or somebody else doing the healing on him, it just makes it easier for things to happen. And really, when you start calming that nerve down, my experience is that, for one, with cancer, it slows down the rate of cancer growths. And two, it might even impact his asthma. Definitely will impact his cardiovascular function, like substantially. And we can start really simple. And, there's a blend that we can use, or just even a single oil. But the blend is that one, Paracelsus,
uh-huh.
it's got wormwood in it, it's got opopanox in it, and like I've made a version with a little bit of ginger grass, and I made a different, like I've kind of played with the last little element a little bit. But the idea would be, part of why that blend works so much is it calms down that accelerator nerve, so it can have an impact on cardiovascular function if he's a little bit more predisposed to like strokes or TIAs. It's not like the total treatment for that, but it's definitely contributing to that. And it's really kind of more like you're wanting to put the body in a better place so that the things become easier to deal with. Sometimes they resolve on their own, and sometimes extra steps need to be done. But
So what protocol is there?
ideally, I would have him go through and inhale with his awareness on his body. But if he won't do that, we could flip it and make like a body tonic where he just, I think, rub it on as much of his body as possible. And the idea being that, it's antispasmodic, it's very relaxing, it's very soothing, but by going through and treating the body, you're not really doing the joints. It's just like your leg, your hip, you're going through body part by body part. You're hitting the skeletal muscle, and by hitting the skeletal muscle, you're hitting the circulatory function. And it's different than some of the other things that we've done, because we're not trying to, like when we did the arms and legs over the weekend with the different oils and the different layers, you're trying to regulate circulation. Here, you're trying to calm the heart down, and you're trying to calm the nerve down that stimulates the heart, because things are just like a little bit overactivated. And that blend, like even if you look at it from the point of view of not being an approach to the nerve or the cardiovascular component, it's oils that put the body into like a more accelerated healing process. So they are a little bit more relaxing. He would probably, if he does it in the evening, he'll probably sleep deeper, he'll sleep longer. If he needs to use the bathroom a lot, like urinating, it calms down that urge to, that kind of urge to get up and urinate, although sometimes it's not because the bladder is needing to empty. It's just that this nerve is out of control. And It will even slow down if he's peeing too many times in a day. It will slow that down. It just starts calming everything down. It just starts helping the body pump the brakes. And wormwood by itself would do it. The Paracelsus is much faster. Sometimes in very extreme cases, I've even had the person take wormwood capsules from the health food store. Because you don't want to give them the essential oil of wormwood. It's too strong. Like, so we switch over to capsules, but there could be some other things that we'd use instead of wormwood. It's not always the greatest just to keep pounding on one particular substance, but it would potentially slow down the chaotic cell growth. It would help to begin to regulate the heart. And the asthma, I'd probably give him just a bunch of quercetin, like 2-3 capsules 2 or 3 times a day if he would do it. If he doesn't, like, I get it. We could treat it with an oil, but that he's had cancer for such a long period of time and asthma, you can guarantee he doesn't have enough vitamin C in his body on a daily basis. I guarantee it. Doesn't matter if he's eating 15 oranges a day. He does not have enough vitamin C in his body.
So the quercetin will do that.
Sometimes when the body is having difficulty or has a particular condition, we need more vitamin C than what is just like a normal daily amount of vitamin C. And one of the things that consumes a lot of vitamin C is cancer. Like cancer, it's just ugh. And then anytime you see asthma, I mean, there are different kinds of asthma, but there was a study done probably 20-25 years ago that about 90% of people that have asthma or asthmatic symptoms are vitamin C deficient. So you can almost just go vitamin C deficiency, and just there, 9 times out of 10, you would be right. And so that's almost like one where you could just bet on that it's there. And just the regular vitamin C from the health food store won't be quite enough. So that quercetin that we're always talking about, like I would get him on the quercetin.
Okay.
You can always get him to eat like more fruits or things that are higher in vitamin C and
he has a healthy diet.
Yeah.
But
so then if he can handle more, then it's always the next step is a bunch of lymphatic work. But just a bunch of lymphatic work.
Okay, and I can get back with you, but I've also got that probably in classes that I've.
Yeah, well, there's that whole series that we did of the lymphatic, 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be heavy on lymphatic 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay,
yeah.
I should have all that information.
Yeah.
That
I think most of those were just like a 1-day thing. So,
yep.
They're not super prolonged. And you can just cycle through it.
Yeah, I can get into that. And if I have a problem, I'll just get back on and ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you suggest to do it at body tonic at night?
Body tonic you could do multiple times in a day, but if he's going to do the inhalation, and he goes through his body, it will probably kind of knock him out a little bit. And so it's ironic, we just did it last night. I wrote about this in the thing last night, and it just had been on my mind a bunch lately. And so Samantha slept in much longer than normal. I slept in a little bit more than normal, and I was doing it on the couch, fell asleep on the couch, like got up in the middle of the night to go to bed. And so, I mean, that's how relaxing it can be. It's not that it's like it's relaxing and calming. It calms that specific nerve. That specific nerve is, I would say, has a bigger profound effect on like how wound up we can be. And a lot of times there's not a whole lot you can do to calm it down, because it's really like the agitation is a byproduct of some stress and then trauma. And trauma doesn't have to be like, an accident or some big devastating thing. It could just be a lot of micro traumas over a period of time. Like just, I remember doing work for this one company, and this one person, they just had like substantial PTSD. And when I was looking at them, I was like, man, there's just lots of trauma. And I would ask the person, like, so tell me what like horrible things have happened or whatever. And they were like, nothing. And I was like, I couldn't get to the bottom to it. And so I just said, tell me what happens. Like, just tell me what goes on. And they were given extra hard jobs, and the chance of success wasn't as high as normal. And they kind of consistently didn't achieve their goals. And I said, do people like yell at you, or do you get in trouble? They go, no, there's not a big high expectation that we're going to be successful. And so like we kept talking it out, and it's like just not hitting the goals and not being successful. And also a little bit of people not even expecting the person to be successful made them feel like, I'm just not capable, when it was really the situation. It wasn't the person, it was the situation. But if you said, is any of that traumatizing to you? They'd go, no. But when you look at them, and I started measuring and looking, it was just a bunch of micro traumas over a period of time. So it's not something where you have to go and figure out, like, did he have trauma or not? Just that nerve was like that. Something hurt his feelings, something made him not feel good, something didn't go well, there was loss, whatever it is, that got overstimulated.
Well, reoccurring cancer would do that for any of
Yeah,
us.
cancer would do it too. But I suspect that it was there before the cancer. I
Okay,
think it probably contributed to the cancer, actually.
okay. Interesting thought. So the inhalations at night, you said to focus on the body. So I'm going to ask you really specifically. Are you talking about like starting at the toes or the head and just going through all parts of the
You can
body?
start either way. I usually have them start at their feet, but it doesn't really matter. It's just that if you start relaxing the feet, they'll start relaxing, and then the legs, and then by the time they get up to their chest and head, they're kind of already taken off a little bit. And you want to increase the circulation in the legs maybe a little bit more, just to help the overall circulation. So I usually have them start at the legs first. It kind of doesn't matter, but if like we're splitting hairs, I'd start from the feet and work your way up. But it's just about relaxing the different segments of the body. So whatever division of that works, I like to go like little section by little section by little section. So the feet, the lower leg, the knee, the leg, the hips, the lower abdomen, the back, just kind of keep it in little segments like that.
Okay. And like I know that sometimes you do a deep dive where you do like 17 inhalations per area.
If he can do that, like the longer the better.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would say keep it
If
into something that he'll do consistently, because like a treatment or two will be good. Him doing it every night for, a few weeks to a month would be awesome.
Well,
So
you know,
if it's 10 minutes a night, then I'd rather see 10 minutes a night for 30 days than a deep dive 2 or 3 nights, for an hour and a half, and then no more. Like I'd rather see him just
sure.
consistently do it for a while. Yeah.
So could he go through the body doing it, a certain number and then go back through the body again
Sure.
if he's
Yeah.
feels
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it? Because that may be an encouraging way to do it if
Yeah.
he's comfortable with that. Now, for somebody that doesn't sleep like me, would this be something interesting to try?
I find it incredibly soothing and relaxing. And every time I do it, it knocks me out. And then I go, God, why am I not doing this on a regular basis? And, it's just, you get so many things going on, and, I forget. And but every time I do it, I sleep like a baby. Like, I mean, like I said, I fell asleep on the couch last night, and Samantha went to bed early and slept in late. And we were doing a little protocol like after we got all done last night, and man, it knocked us both out.
Last question.
Mhm.
Sage on the wrist?
What was it?
Sage on the wrist?
Oh, sage on the wrist is always good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I know that for cognitive, you always
yeah.
say
And
that.
brain fatigue and all that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Well, as you were talking, I was looking at him to see if it was a little bit more of a psychasthenia, which is a different kind of like depletion in the nervous system on the brain. I think sage is sufficient. I don't think you need the spruce or anything like that. I think you're pretty solid there.
And would a salt bath be encouraged?
Salt baths, especially for cancer patients, are always good, but like the thing that I always like to think of is not to overwhelm them. And so if he's in and he's willing to do it, then I would do it. If he's like him and Han, I'd rather see him do the wormwood for a while before we.
Absolutely. I'm
So
just getting all the information. What would you
if
put in the salt bath?
I would
Sage?
put either Palo Santo or coffee.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I would lean a little bit heavier on the coffee, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah, it's very, very cleansing, and it's very stimulating to detoxification, and it just helps clean things up to a higher degree. But you know, Palo Santo would do it too, but coffee would be a little stronger.
very, very helpful. Thank you very
You're so
much.
welcome.